Thursday, June 25th. We read from Genesis.
After these things, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." He said, "Take your son, to your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on the one of the mountains that I shall show you." So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. He cut the wood for the burnt offering and set out and went to the place in the distance that God had shown him. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place far away. Then Abraham said to his young men, "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. So the 2 of them walked on together. Isaac said to his father Abraham, "Father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." He said, "The fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham said, "God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering, my son." So the 2 of them walked on together. When they came to the place that God had shown him, Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." He said, "Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." And Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide," as it is said to this day. On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided.
From verse 1. God tested Abraham. Trust and obey. As they slogged up Mount Moriah, the innocent, trusting boy Isaac asked his dad, "Father, where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" Abraham replied, "God will provide one, my son." Imagine the heartache and anguish Abraham must have felt as he prepared to commit the abominable act of child sacrifice for which God had so strongly condemned the heathens. Abraham must have been thinking, "How can God do this? God is betraying me and obliterating my future. Doesn't God care?" Have there been times in your life when you felt as if God was against you, or had abandoned you to misery, as if God had closed the windows of heaven and dried up every stream of blessing? At such times, the hardest prayer in the world is, "Thy will be done." At such times, we can only look to Christ and his cross and see there the absolute proof of God's love and goodwill toward us. Then we will have the faith of Martin Luther when he quoted Job 13:15. "Though kill me, yet I will trust in him." Trust and obey. There's no other way. Let us pray. Dear God, do not lead me into a temptation or test that is too hard for me. Help me to trust in you above all. Amen.